Good morning. Just a quick video today. I suppose really it's more of an introduction to the blog. I should be writing probably later on today or tomorrow. Oh, you'll have to excuse, I can see that on here actually. I've got a spot, sort of actually. I put this thing on there to try and get rid of it. Can't believe I'm getting acne at 50 years old. How mad is that? But I had this rash on my face. You can probably see like the tail end of it, and I think I exfoliated a little bit too hard, so yeah, and then a spot came up, so I'm just getting rid of it anyway. Right, so this week I'm going to be writing about toxic people. Now, I've written loads about toxic people in the past, mainly because me and Daryl have had our own horrendous experience with a couple of particular characters in our life. So I have a wealth of knowledge about these people. Now this week I made a comment about far-right politics, and it was really based on what had happened to me at the beginning of the week. So I made a comment on a particular comedian's X account, and I don't want to mention who it was, but they are transgender and they look particularly good in this photo, so I just made a nice comment, as I do. I don't care if you're straight, gay, transgender. I don't care what you are in life. It doesn't matter, really doesn't. And everyone else should really think the same. If you're going to actually attack someone for who they are, then you're the one with the problem, not them. Anyway, I made this comment, and this individual attacked me throughout all of my social media. Now, being a blogger, my social media is really sort of open to the world. It has to be. And this person kind of stalked me all the way through and made some horrendous comments. And one of the particular ones that stuck in my gut was about me being publicly hung in the street for who I was. Now, I don't get upset. I'm quite thick-skinned, but that, I don't know what it was, but it really, really got to me. And I think, I know in a lot of countries in the world, you see, homosexual men and women still executed for their sexuality. So when somebody says that to you, it shocks you to the core. Well, I didn't think it would shock me that much, but it did, and it really did upset me. So anyway, this person was he was a Reform voter for all intents and purposes, and his views were absolutely abhorrent. Now, I don't know a lot about Reform as a party, and I think they know even less, because they're sort of at the beginning of the birth of this party as such, and I don't necessarily think they vet their candidates in the strongest possible way. The guy who actually had a go at me wasn't a candidate, by the way. This was just a simple voter who was, I don't know, saying when Reform wins, they will do this, this and this, and I will be the first up against the wall, and that type of stuff. Now, I have my own views. Freedom of speech. I'm entitled to say what I want, within reason, obviously. So I made a few comments on social media about it, and about the Reform Party. And my God, people who I'd known for many, many years attacked me for making these comments. Now look, I accept that my friends come from different political persuasions. I have conservative friends, I have socialist friends, I have far left and right friends. But I also accept that I can speak my mind, they can speak their mind, but we have mutual respect for each other. And attacking me for basically writing about my beliefs or sharing a post that coincided with my beliefs is wrong, totally wrong. One of these people I've known for many years, and he will always be a dear friend. That's neither here nor there. And his comments were the least of my worries. But another guy who I'd known since working for a large charity, he actually volunteered at the time, so I employed him as a volunteer. His comments were absolutely outrageous, and needless to say that he has been blocked from my life, and that's a good thing. You know, I always used to pride myself on being a good judge of character, but sometimes not. So he's now gone, and hopefully he will be forgotten pretty soon. But look, the moral of this is, God, trust your instincts, really. And this particular person made comments in the past which were quite, they weren't good comments. And I kind of kept them on my social media, and I thought, okay, maybe these are just sort of, one-off comments, but they gradually got worse and worse and worse. And he is a toxic person. And if he reads my blog, I hope he does, because he is toxic. And there is no need for that type of individual in my life. As far as I'm concerned, I'm quite a placid, nice person, and most people get on with me pretty well. But clearly, this individual overstepped the mark, and he was gone. I kind of semi-debated with him in the past, and I just thought, you know what, you're not worth it, and I really haven't got time to be bothered with you, and forget it, basically. And he's gone. So good. So I'm going to write a bit about my experiences this week in my blog, and I suppose it really gets to the crux. I'm an insomniac as well, so I don't sleep particularly well. And if I get anxiety, or somebody gives me anxiety, it really does play on my mind, and it keeps me awake at night. And that was one of the nights that kept me awake, and I must have had about 2 hours sleep. So, insomnia itself plays a big part in my life. I would wear my Fitbit to bed to record my sleep and all the rest of it. I've stopped doing that. So I've taken this off now, and I'm not recording my sleep. And actually, my sleep has got better over the last few days, and that's good. And I am taking less and less notice of it. I'm also turning my phone off an hour, 2 hours before I go to bed. And that's another thing that I've read that you should be doing. And I'm starting to kind of read a book, or just read something that isn't my phone before going to sleep. And that's something else that apparently will help as well. So I'm kind of trying all these different ways to, combat it. And I did buy some, I can't even remember what they are, some herbal sleeping pills, and from Chemist Warehouse. And I was taking them. They were making me worse. Actually, I was waking up in cold sweat. It was dreadful. I actually do feel medication anyway, and it really does affect me, whatever it is. And yeah, these things were awful. I wish I could remember what they were called. I can't. No. So anyway, I've given up on those. I thought about going to see my GP again to see if he could recommend anything, or prescribe something. but I thought I'm not paying out another $100 just to see a GP when I can hopefully deal with this myself. And I mean, look, I kind of looked into it and I thought it was sleep apnea, but I mean, the one good thing that the Fitbit does is it does record various patterns of sleep, and that includes snoring. And my snoring, I possibly snore, it's about 10 to 14 minutes a night. So there's no real, there's nothing there that tells me it's sleep apnea, because I did kind of analyse the data a bit. So if anything, that's Daryl, because he definitely, yes, I mean, I've tried to get him to go to a doctor about it, but he never listens. So there we go. Anyway, I'm mumbling and rambling on. So no, this week, toxic people, I will do a written blog because that's what I prefer anyway. But this is kind of like a bit of an introduction. I hope you've all had a great week, and I'll talk to you again next week. And hopefully this spot, my teenage spot, will be gone. My anxious mind did make me Google this, and apparently at my age now, 50s, it can happen, and it's all to do with changes, bodily changes. So that's probably what it is, and it possibly got something to do with the exfoliation as well. So health anxiety to one side is perfectly normal. Anyway, have a good one. Ciao.